Life is not always easy, and this episode is proof of that. After having several successful projects under our belt, it was time to take on a bigger project, the Martin County Water Project. The demand was high, as was the budget, but nonetheless, we wanted to help out in any way that we could. Despite concerns on the funding of this project, we launched it anyway, under the hope that it would be another community served and helped. Martin County has a long history of water issues, dating back to October of 2000, when a large coal slurry spill damaged the environment, entire communities, and the county's water supply. It was something that the county would never recover from, even after 18 years had passed. The project was simple. We wanted to provide Martin County residents with access to clean drinking water, while the county worked through its financial difficulties and tried to find a better way to recover from years of neglect on its infrastructure. My first visit to Martin County was eye-opening. Despite it being the first time ever stepping foot in INS, the community welcomed me in Change Force with open arms. I spent most of the day speaking with as many community members as I possibly could, trying to get a better understanding of just how difficult things had been. We shared a lot of heartfelt moments, and I knew it had to be beyond difficult living in a place where the most vital source of survival became more dangerous than it was helpful. When I left, I knew one thing. I wanted to do whatever I could in my power to help. After returning back to Lexington, I began researching and talking to the experts, trying to find some way for us to help. After a few days of work, we found a solution. We reached out to a company called Zero Water, and they were willing to cut the nonprofit a 50% discount on water filtration devices that were strong enough to make the water in Martin County safe to drink again. After drawing out the plan, I knew that we would have a big problem to solve first. After 18 years of hearing that the water was unsafe, will the community ever be able to fully trust the capabilities of the water filters? Determined, we set out to test if these water filters would pass the test. For the second and third visits to Martin County, I knew that it was time to get down to business. I went to the store and picked up a water filter and some test strips, and then it was time to go. We spent all day collecting water samples from different parts of the county, testing them to see what contaminants were in the water supply and how well the filter did at removing them. We did this again on the third visit and compiled the results. What we found was exactly what we had hoped for. The water filters did exactly what was promised, removing all of the contaminants from the water supply in the test samples. With this being a cheaper alternative to bottled water, we had a plan that we felt comfortable with and had high hopes of success. We confirmed with Zero Water and began collecting funding for the project. All seemed to be going well, and everything seemed to be falling into place. Then somehow things started to take a difficult and heartbreaking turn. It all started as a Facebook comment, which accused Change Force of using a GoFundMe account and asking Martin County residents to donate their own money to the project. It was a serious accusation and was something that would ultimately violate Change Force policy. Change Force is a community-based nonprofit, and its motto is communities supporting communities. Because of that, we have never and will never ask any community member who is in the project zone to contribute to their own project. The legal battle for the reputation of Change Force was in full drive, and we had to play defense. Good morning. Earlier this week, Change Force Corporation was involved in a legal matter that stemmed from the public posting of false comments about the operations of Change Force Corporation. An investigation was launched, and yesterday a cease and desist order was issued. This morning, that post has since been removed from Facebook. As a result, I have authorized that no further action will be taken from Change Force Corporation, and all legal matters associated with this case are now closed. In the future, we ask all of our Change Force contributors and supporters, and also the general public who is interested about information with Change Force, to utilize our transparency policy, which states that if it's not confidential, you can request it. If you have questions about financial documents, if you have questions about anything that involves the operations of ChangeForce, you can always send us an email at contact@changeforcecorp.org. After the fallout of the legal battle, my directors and myself had one of the hardest decisions to make in our time here at ChangeForce. Despite resolving the legal matter, the damage had already been done. We began losing project sponsors over fears that they could be targeted next, and donations for the project stopped completely. After meeting with the team once again, we decided that since we weren't reaching our fundraising goals, and because we did not want to keep the community waiting, we had no other option than to cancel the project immediately. I filed an internal motion to cancel the project and refund everyone who contributed to the project. For me, it was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. I had never backed down from anything in my life, and I wasn't raised that way. But at the same time, all of us contributed so much of our free time into making this whole thing a success, and continuing with the project after the battle would not only put all of that work at risk, it would have also put current and future projects at risk as well, and I couldn't let that happen. In honor of the project, the original printouts of each water advisory and the test results printout were placed in the ChangeForce Hall of Fame with a slip of paper that reads, "God bless the Martin County residents. We failed in providing assistance to you, but we pray and hope that the future for you looks bright and that soon your water will once again be safe." The ChangeForce Hall of Fame represents the good and the bad, as we keep something from all memories to forever be remembered. Now, canceling a project is never easy. That's not what we set out to do. We don't start projects that we don't plan on finishing. Helping people is my life, and I've been doing it long before ChangeForce was even a thought. I will forever have to think what could have happened. I'm constantly asking myself what we could have done differently to prevent all of this from ever happening. The whole situation hurt us all. It was a blow to everyone who knew us professionally and personally. We were lucky though, thanks to the friends and memories. Those who knew us best stood with us and they never gave up hope. The one question that was asked the most was, will we do it again? I can't say yes or no to that. Would I do a project like that again? Maybe. But even though the legal issue was resolved, the scar will always be there. After all was done, I reached out to both and tried to mend the issue, but I never got a reply. It's something that I don't think will ever truly be resolved.